Kia ora. This is a book haul video. So I did some book shopping at the local book sale that happens once a year, and I got this stack of books. Let's see if I can hold it up to the camera without dropping it. So I got all of these books, and I'm just going to go through them and talk about what I got. So the first three books are sort of themed. I got a bunch of T.S. Eliot books. So I got Selected Prose by T.S. Eliot, which is what I've been reading. I'm about halfway through, and this is just excerpts of um, different prose that Eliot wrote. I can talk a bit about this because I've read about half of it, and it delves into various topics, mostly literary and literary criticism, but also it varies around. These different sections of this book are related to different things. He talks a lot about the sort of canonical works, so a lot about Hamlet and Dante and Milton, and other authors or of the ilk, Virgil. So it's a lot of yeah, it's interesting seeing what his opinion is. But I'm mostly reading this for the prose style. He's got T.S. Eliot has a very clear way of communicating ideas and is very adept at handling those ideas and language. I mean, obviously he won the Nobel Prize. Uh, yeah, and then the other two books I got is Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, which is T.S. Eliot's children's story that he wrote for his grandchildren, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. But this is basically just um, like it's I think it's a poem, or it's a poem about cats and just like the weird antics they get up to and the silly names he gives them and all sorts of stuff like that. So this will be interesting. I think, I mean, obviously T.S. Eliot's a renowned author, but I think you shouldn't just avoid children's books in general, because it's good to vary the sort of style of stuff you're taking in. And a lot of children's literature like this is pretty timeless and can be read and enjoyed for all ages. So I might give this to a friend after I finish it, or I might hold on to it. It depends how I feel at this stage. I'm not really sure. Then we've got Dante by T.S. Eliot. So this is an essay about Dante. So Dante being the author of Inferno and the Divine Comedy. And T.S. Eliot is in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, he quotes parts of Dante in it. And so he's obviously familiar with the subject matter. And I haven't read Dante in the original Italian, but I've read Inferno and Paradiso and Purgatorio in a couple of different translations. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about this author that I'm familiar with. Okay, so that's the T.S. Eliot section. Now, I got Don Patterson, The Eyes. This is just Faber and Faber poetry, and generally Faber and Faber print really good poetry. Basically, anything this publisher does is worth looking at. So I picked it up sort of as a blind purchase. Obviously, this book sale, I got everything for incredibly cheap. I think I spent maybe $37 total for all these books. Um, I'll need to pause this video. Okay, never mind. I was just talking to myself because I left a book in the lounge, but I'll grab it when I get up to that. But it is different from the rest, so you'll see this. You'll see in a few minutes. Now I got Albert Camus, Exile and the Kingdom. I really just pick up any Camus I see, and this is no exception. But I don't really know anything about this other than a bit about the author. I think I've read Summer in Algiers, which is I think it's an essay, and um, I've read part of The Outsider, but I have not finished The Outsider, so we'll see how this goes. And then we got Selected Poetry and Prose by Percy Shelley. I'm not going to try and pronounce Percy Shelley's middle name, but yeah, Percy Shelley. So I believe this is the father of Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, and Percy Shelley is a famous poet and literary critic, and is important in the Romantic movement, which is a part of what Lord Byron and John Keats and Mary Shelley were a part of. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I don't really know what to expect. It will be. I'm expecting sort of early 19th century style writing, but I don't really know much more than that. So that'll be interesting. And then I got this book, which is Hammond Inns, The Doomed Oasis. So this is, I think it's set in Arabia, and I don't really know too much about it. It's a Heron book, and there was a big stack of them, of this author, of Hammond Inns, and I just picked up one just out of curiosity, but I did not pick up the big stack of them. So we'll just see what this is like. I kind of was drawn to the cover, the nice gilded pattern, but honestly, I don't really know anything about this, and it would just kind of be interesting to see if this is a rabbit hole I'm wanting to go down or not. But yeah. Then I bought a couple of random science fiction books. So I got The Stainless Steel Rat for President. I actually have The Stainless Steel Rat, but I haven't read it. And I picked this up because I already had the first one. And I don't think this one's... I think there's a few other before this one. But it'll just be interesting to see what it's like. I'm really just want to try something different with this. It's by Harry Harrison, and the back describes it: Harry Harrison, the Monty Python of the Spaceways. So we'll see. It seems like a science fiction comedy, but yeah, no, just random purchase. And then I got One Against the Legion. I know nothing about this. It's by Jack Williamson. And it was $2, and it's a first edition. That counts for anything, but yeah, it's just random blind buy. We'll see if the thing about this book sale is you can always just return the books and then they'll sell them again, because it happens every year, and there's book collections around the city year round. So if I end up not enjoying a random purchase, then it's no massive loss. I spent $2 to try something different, so not don't. Yeah. And then the last four books I have before I'll have to pause this to grab the last one is they all have kind of a theme. These kind of have a theme. So the first one is Mort sur le Nil, so Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie, but in French. So I bought this in French well, firstly, it was the book sale just has a bunch of foreign language books and they sell them for incredibly cheap. So it's probably the best way to pick up foreign language books and French books in the city I'm in without having to go overseas or buy something online. It's the best way to get foreign language books in person is this book sale. So just picking this up, I picked up Death on the Nile because I think the French will be relatively easy. I'm not 100% sure about that. It could be more difficult than I'm expecting it to be, but hopefully I'll be able to sort of plod through this, and it'll be a good practice. So yeah, and then I got, let's put that one aside. Then I got definitely a harder book is Paul Boy Boyle Boyle Paul Boyle. See, I need to practice my French because I'm struggling to pronounce that. Paul Boyle. Boyle. Yeah, Boyle. Paul Boyle. Okay, I'm just saying it over and over again. By Emile Zola. Um, and this is a French classic. I don't really know anything about this book except Emile Zola is a author that I want to read. But this is probably above my reading level in French. I mean, I shouldn't like say I can't read it, but I sort of picked this up as like a future me when I get into reading in French and practicing French will be glad that I have this for practice. So, yep. And then another one. This one looks pretty easy. Bill Bryson, Nous voisins du dessous, Chronique Australienne, which just means our cousins down under. So yeah, yeah, this is Bill Bryson. It's a famous travel author, American British travel author, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this is like. Um, I've haven't read any Bill Bryson. I've read an essay by Bill Bryson, but I haven't really delved into his work. But I've been meaning to, and this seems in a pretty clear style, and this should be entertaining. And then lastly, I have a Japanese book. So I just got this TED Talks book, the official TED Guide to Public Speaking, and it says it in Japanese. So my Japanese is definitely worse than my French, but I'm actively practicing my Japanese, so it'll be worth having some material to practice reading when I get up to the stage of wanting to read. So, it's difficult to find Japanese books here, so I'm just going to snap them up while I can. And that's that, but I do have one final book, so I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I have the last book, and it is The Louvre, which is just basically an art book about of paintings, famous paintings from the Louvre. So yeah, this is hefty. This was $9, which for this book sale is expensive, but is definitely worth this price. and is in good condition. The dust jacket, which I've taken off because I'm reading this, is was a little beaten up, but the book itself is in almost perfect condition. So yeah, this is pretty cool. A lot of artworks. I cannot show that many of the artworks because there's a lot of nudity. Because apparently paintings in the Louvre have a lot of nudity in them, and YouTube doesn't really like that. So yeah, but anyway, it's good. It's very yeah. I should stop looking at it because it'll take up all my attention. But this is the last thing I got, and yeah, I guess that's it. So um, I'll probably see you in the next video, and have a good day. Cheers.